After sailing around the world twice with her dad, Jack, in search of her mom, a girl named Nim eventually settles with him on a South Pacific island, which they decide to call their new home. A few years earlier, just after Nim was born, her mom, an oceanographer, went to the ocean to check out what's inside the stomach of a giant blue whale. As she stays near the whale's mouth to continue her research, a mysterious ship called the Buccaneer suddenly comes out of nowhere and gets too close to them. This frightened the whale, and it swallowed Nim's mom. After that incident, Jack decided to sail the ocean in search of the blue whale, which he believed would bring his wife back to him one day. He eventually embarked on the quest with Nim, but they still didn't find her. After years of sailing around the world, they stop on a deserted island and decide to make it their home. On the island, Nim makes friends with a pelican, which she names Galileo, a sea lion named Selkie, a sea turtle named Chica, and a dragon lizard named Fred.
This is my island.
Nim learns a lot from her friends, but she also relies on her dad's books to understand other things. One night, after Jack returns home from an expedition, he tells Nim that he believes he has just found a new species of nanoplanktons. Nim then asks if he remembers what he'll name the new species, and he says he'll call it Protozoa Nim. Interestingly, Jack happens to be a marine biologist who works a lot on nanoplanktons. He also happens to be a well-known scientist who receives emails from colleagues around the world when they need his help. Jack is also known for writing articles, one of which got featured on the National Geographic website. Since Jack and Nim have become permanent residents of the island, they wait every few months for a supply ship to come around to deliver everything they need. After they get a new delivery of supplies, Jack and Nim check out the box. While Jack seems excited that he got some seeds he had been waiting for, Nim looks happy that the box came with a new installment of her favorite book, which is about an adventurer named Alex Rover.
The new Alex Rover.
Jack tells her to wait until after dinner to read the book, but Nim says she'll get started immediately. As Nim starts reading the book, she taps into her imagination and thinks about herself experiencing the action in the story. In one of the chapters, Alex Rover, who Nim has made to look like her dad, goes up against some Arab men who plan to kill him. Even though they initially seem to be in control of the situation, Alex Rover eventually beats them up, but he looks disappointed to see his camel running away from the desert. After Nim is done with the chapter, Jack puts her to bed, and she asks how Alex Rover became the person he currently is, and if he was born with all the courage he has. Jack then says that courage is actually something people learn throughout their lives. He adds that it's not just inside Nim, but it's in every choice she makes.
Where do you think Alex Rover is this very minute?
Elsewhere, the writer of the Alex Rover series, Alexandra Rover, continues working on her next book inside her apartment in San Francisco. While she's at it, she suddenly sees a spider on her computer and freaks out. After she gets it to leave her table, Alexandra realizes that she has run out of hand sanitizers. She then calls a nearby pharmacy to have new ones delivered to her. After a while, the delivery man arrives, but Alexandra tells him to drop the package just outside the door. The man looks shocked because it's raining outside, but Alexandra says she doesn't mind. After he drops the package just in front of her door, he leaves the neighborhood to continue his job. Almost immediately, Alexandra opens the door slightly and takes the package inside. She then rubs some of the sanitizer on her hands, and this makes her feel more comfortable. Interestingly, it turns out that Alexandra is agoraphobic, which means that she has an intense fear of being in open places or situations where help may not be available.
How many bottles do you have?
As she continues working on her book, Alexandra gets a voicemail from her editor, Buffy, who asks how she's doing and if the new story is coming along well. Alexandra feels overwhelmed by this, and it turns out that in the new book, she wants to tell a story of how Alex Rover escapes from a situation where some men try to throw him into a volcano. Alexandra doesn't know too much about volcanoes, and she seems confused as to how she'll continue her story. After a while, she eventually comes across Jack's article on the National Geographic website, and she wonders if he might be able to help her. The next day, Jack tells Nim to come with him on an expedition to find Protozoa Nim. Nim says she'd like to stay back because Chica's eggs are about to hatch, but Jack says they'll only be gone for 2 nights. Nim still insists on staying back because she's not even sure her dad will find Protozoa Nim, but Jack tries to convince her because he believes the expedition will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As Nim says she's no longer a child who can't stay alone on the island, Jack eventually agrees to let her stay back.
I want to stay.
After he packs his things, he tells Nim that if he receives any important emails, she should tell the senders that he's out on an expedition and will be back in 2 days. As he's about to leave, he still seems unsure about leaving Nim alone, but she says she'll be fine. Following this, Jack leaves and says he'll be back soon. After Nim returns to the house, she dances around with Selkie until she checks her dad's computer and sees that he has new emails. As she checks them, she sees that one of the emails is from Alex Rover, who asks if Jack can answer some questions that will help him on his next adventure. Nim looks shocked because she can't believe that the main character from her favorite book is asking for Jack's help. She also seems excited by this, and she responds to the email by saying that she and Jack are huge fans of Alex Rover. She adds that Jack isn't around at the moment, but she's sure he'd be happy to answer any questions Alex Rover might have. Interestingly, Alexandra happens to be the one sending the email as Alex Rover.
It's time to finish the book.
And as she reads Nim's response, she realizes that Jack isn't around. She then sends another email asking if Nim is Jack's research associate. She also says that she recently came across one of Jack's articles about a volcano near his home, and she wants to know if Nim is familiar with it. After she sends the email, Alexandra imagines Alex Rover being in the room with her. Even though she tells him to go away, he says he won't because he knows that Alexandra loves him just like all his fans from around the world. Alexandra finds this funny, but Alex Rover then complains that she has been writing Chapter 8 of the new book for too long. He adds that she has to decide if she wants to sacrifice him or let him escape because she has to finish the book already. Alexandra tells him to be silent because she's thinking, but Alex Rover complains that she has to get out of her head and into her body. Alexandra gets tired of hearing him complain, so she takes a break to dance. Elsewhere, Nim uses a satellite phone to call Jack to inform him about Chica's baby turtles. She says she made the right decision to stay back, and Jack mentions that he's proud of her.
Have you found my nanoplankton yet?
She then asks about his expedition, and he says that it's going well. He adds that he would have loved for her to see how incredible the ocean is. Nim asks if he has seen Protozoa Nim, and he mentions that he's pretty sure he has gotten it right this time. After this, Jack tells Nim to go to bed already, and she agrees to do this. As the call ends, a strange wind blows Jack's hat away, and rain suddenly starts falling. Before Jack can do anything, a huge wave knocks him down into the ocean, and he nearly loses the container where he stored Protozoa Nim. As he grabs the container, another wave hits him, and he sounds terrified. Elsewhere, while Nim is sleeping, a powerful wind blows into the house and scatters everything inside. Nim looks really scared, but she quickly covers her dad's table before sitting with Selkie and Fred. In the morning, Nim wakes up and sees the whole house looking messy. She also notices that there's no more power in the house, and this leaves her disappointed. After she goes out to fix the power, she calls Jack with the satellite phone.
No power.
But she doesn't get any response. Meanwhile, Jack happens to be sleeping inside the boat, which is now leaking. Suddenly, Galileo gets to the scene to wake him up, and he quickly tries to fix the dent in the boat. Shortly after, he heads outside and sees that he's in the middle of nowhere with his mast and satellite already destroyed by the storm. This leaves him worried, and he wonders how he'll get back to Nim. After a while, he enters the ocean to find some fish to eat. As he nearly catches one, Galileo snatches it from the water, and Jack looks disappointed. However, he sees Galileo on his boat and realizes that the pelican has already helped him catch some fish. Jack is surprised by this, and he asks if he knows Galileo or if the pelican is Nim's friend. Galileo just makes a normal sound ground, and Jack finds it funny that he's actually trying to talk to a bird. Not long after, a shark hits the boat, and Jack quickly enters the cabin to fix the places that are already leaking again. On the island, Nim looks worried because she still hasn't been able to reach her dad.
I love you!
Love you too!
She, however, decides to remain calm because Jack is not supposed to be back until the next day. Later that night, as she enters the house, she sees Alex Rover's email about the volcano. She then confirms that there's really a volcano on the island, but that they only call it a fire mountain because it has not exploded yet. She adds that when it nearly exploded, the sky went completely white with ash. As Alexandra gets the email, she seems pleased with the way Nim described the volcano. She then sends another email, asking if it's possible for someone to see bubbling lava inside the mouth of the volcano. After hitting send, Alexandra sees a mailman arriving at the house, and she tries to tell him to drop her mail on the porch instead of inside the mailbox, but he doesn't hear her. Elsewhere, Nim gets Alex Rover's email and responds that even though she doesn't know what the mouth of a volcano looks like, she'll get back to him soon. While Nim goes to the mountain to check out the volcano, Alexandra also tries to go outside to get her mail from the mailbox. Unfortunately, she can't bring herself to do it, and she says she'll try again later.
Excuse me? Can you just leave it on the porch?
Meanwhile, Nim gets to the top of the mountain and sees the mouth of the volcano. She then notices that there's no lava inside, and she says she can't wait to tell Alex Rover. Suddenly, the ground starts vibrating, and Nim tries to make her way down before anything happens to her. Unfortunately, she falls badly to the ground and injures her leg. When she returns to the house, she sends an email to Alex Rover, telling him that her expedition didn't go well, and she ended up injuring her leg. She also asks Alex Rover for advice on how to treat the cut on her leg. Alexandra looks disappointed about what happened because she believes she's at fault for sending Nim to the mountain. She then checks a medical book in her office and tells Nim to make sure the cut is clean and dry. She also asks how Nim is doing and if she's all right. When Nim responds, she tells Alex Rover that she'll be all right when her dad returns home, but that she's still happy to be talking to a real-life hero. Alexandra looks shocked as she reads this, and she asks Nim how old she is and if she's alone.
How old are you?
Elsewhere, Nim sees a strange ship heading toward the island. As she wonders why it's coming really close, she climbs a tree and sees that the name of the ship is the Buccaneer. She looks shocked by this because she remembers that it was the ship that frightened the blue whale and made it swallow her mom. After a while, some men from the ship use a small boat to get to the island. They seem quite happy to see that no one is on the island, and they start talking about their plans to turn it into their private island. The leader of the group, who happens to be a captain, says that their guests will love the island because it will be their own private buccaneer paradise. Nim sounds shocked to hear this, and as the men leave, she hears them saying that they'll be back in 2 days to claim the island. Almost immediately, Nim runs back to the house to try to call Jack, but she still gets no response. Nim then responds to Alex Rover's email, and as Alexandra sees it, she realizes that she has been talking to Jack's 11-year-old daughter, who is all alone because her dad is lost at sea.
Daddy, where are you?
In the email, Nim adds that her leg is swollen and that the Buccaneers are coming to take over the island. Alexandra looks shocked by this, and she asks what she could possibly do to help. Nim then sends another email, telling Alex Rover to come to the island because she doesn't think she can be the hero of her own story. Alexandra feels sorry for Nim, but she responds that she can't come because she's a borderline agoraphobic who hasn't left her apartment in 16 weeks. Alexandra's imagination of Alex Rover appears in her room again and jokes about her response. He also asks if she's really going to send it, but Alexandra doesn't seem to care. As Nim sees the response, she looks shocked and says that she can't believe what Alex Rover is saying because she knows him to be the greatest adventurer in the world. When Alexandra reads the email, she looks disappointed and tells herself that she's not the Alex Rover that Nim wants. After this, she calls 911 to report that Nim is alone on an island.
911, what is your emergency?
But they don't seem to be able to help. Alexandra then sends another email and asks Nim where exactly she is. Nim replies with the exact coordinates of the island, but she tells Alex Rover not to share them with anyone because her dad would be devastated if their secret home got exposed. As Alexandra reads Nim's email, she imagines Alex Rover being in the room again, and he suggests going to save Nim. Alexandra says she can't leave her apartment, but Alex Rover tells her that she has to take action and become the hero of her own story. He adds that if Alexandra goes on the adventure, she might even enjoy it. Following this, Alexandra agrees to go to the island, and she sends an email to Nim, telling her that she's already on her way. She adds that she doesn't know when she'll arrive, but that if she never gets there, it means she's lost at sea. As Nim gets the email, she looks excited because she can't believe that Alex Rover is really coming to meet her. Shortly after, Alexandra packs her things.
Let's go on an adventure. Come on a road trip with me.
But when her taxi arrives, she starts having second thoughts about leaving her apartment. Alex Rover eventually gets her to leave, and she enters the taxi despite feeling sick. Back on the island, Nim tells her friends that since Alex Rover is coming, they just need to work together to keep the buccaneers off the island. She then starts setting up some traps to protect the island. Galileo eventually arrives, and Nim says she's happy to see him. However, Galileo just grabs her tool belt and flies away with it. Nim is shocked by this, and she looks disappointed because she needed the tools. After a while, Galileo drops off the tools for Jack, and he looks surprised by this. He then thanks Galileo for helping him, and he also says that he still has hope of getting back to the island to meet Nim. Elsewhere, Alexandra gets to the airport, but she's not allowed to take her hand sanitizers and soup cans into the plane. Alexandra seems sad about this, but she eventually boards the plane. After a while, she gets uncomfortable and goes to the bathroom.
It's very comfortable to me.
As she complains about her decision to leave the house, Alex Rover appears before her and says that she has done nothing wrong. Alexandra already seems tired of having him around, and she tells him to leave her alone. Just then, she takes some pills for motion sickness, but Alex Rover reminds her that they'll make her feel drowsy. Alexandra ends up sleeping throughout the flight, and when she gets to her first stop, a flight attendant wakes her up and informs her that her next plane leaves in 12 minutes. Alexandra quickly runs to meet up with the plane, but she looks scared when she sees that it's not as big as she had expected. She still boards the plane, but while she's inside, she looks scared and tells herself that if she survives her current adventure, she'll never leave her house again. The next day, the buccaneers move toward the island, and Nim sees that they've brought guests along. Inside the cruise ship, a boy named Edmund admires the island and says that it's amazing. Suddenly, he sees Nim and Selkie inside the water, and he looks shocked. As he tells his parents that he just saw a mermaid, they ignore him and tell him that they need to get on a boat to the island.
I think I saw a mermaid.
While they're on the boat, Nim sends Selkie into the water to gas them out with his horrible stink. Selkie does just this, but even though the guests get disgusted by the smell, they still continue to head toward the island. Nim looks disappointed by this, and she starts wondering when Jack will come home. After a while, the buccaneers get to the island and begin their party. As Nim stays on a tree to watch them, her small telescope falls, and Edmund hears something. He then goes toward the tree, but Fred falls on him and scares him away. Nim finds this funny, but Edmund runs away and tells everyone that he just saw a dragon. His parents are shocked by this, but they still don't believe him. Elsewhere, Alexandra continues her journey to the island, and she finds someone who takes her to a dock to board a boat. Meanwhile, Jack tries to fix his ship, and Galileo stays with him. Back on the island, Nim sees that the cut on her leg isn't getting better, and she seems worried. As Fred makes a sound, she tells him not to feel sorry for her because they need to begin the second phase of their defense strategy.
Don't worry about me, Fred.
Following this, she starts launching Fred and his friends toward the buccaneers. Even though they initially look scared, they eventually send the dragon lizards away, and Nim looks disappointed again. Surprisingly, Edmund has already seen her, and he keeps following her around. He eventually sees her going up to the mountain, where she burns some things to make it seem like the volcano is about to erupt. As she also drops some big stones from the top of the mountain, the buccaneers look shocked, and they start leaving the island. island. Edmund's parents look terrified because they can't find their son, but Edmund still appears to be following Nim. When she eventually comes down from the mountain, he asks who she is and if she lives there. Nim says she does, and she also asks what he's doing there. Edmund says they're supposed to be on holiday, and Nim mentions that he looks different from how she imagined the buccaneers would look. Edmund asks what she means, and Nim says she imagined him and the others based on the story of how the buccaneer ship frightened the blue whale. Edmund doesn't understand this, but he mentions that he's not from a story. As he hears his parents calling him, he tells Nim to come with him because the island is not safe. Nim says it's safe for her, but before Edmund understands what she's talking about, she runs away.
It's time for you to leave now.
Edmund then goes to meet his parents, and he mentions that he saw a girl. His mom doesn't believe this, and she wonders why her son keeps seeing things. Elsewhere, Alexandra gets dropped off near an island where she'll get someone who owns a helicopter to take her to Nim's island. She seems frustrated that she was dropped off inside the water, but she still heads to the island. Meanwhile, Jack fixes his boat and begins his journey home. Before he goes too far, the storm destroys the new part he just fixed. But Jack remains optimistic that he'll find his way back to Nim. Shortly after, Alexandra enters the helicopter with the pilot, but the storm disrupts their journey. As they see the buccaneer nearby, the pilot lands on it, and Alexandra seems frustrated with everything that's happening. Almost immediately, the ship's captain sees her and asks who she is. After introducing herself as the writer of the Alex Rover books,
I wish I were! I'm just a helicopter pilot!
the captain takes her inside. She then tells him the coordinates of where she's headed, and he says it's where they're just coming from. As she mentions that there's a little girl all alone on the island, the captain says it's not possible, but Edmund believes her. Alexandra keeps trying to tell the captain to take her back to the island, but he refuses to do this. After he walks away from her, Edmund goes to meet Alexandra to tell her that he believes her because he saw a girl on the island they left a while ago. Alexandra thanks him for this information, and she sneaks out of the cabin with her luggage. The captain and his men eventually see her, but before they can stop her, she steals a boat and gets off the ship. After a while, Nim suddenly hears someone shouting her name, so she heads outside to see if it's her dad. She eventually sees a boat headed toward the island, and she looks excited because she believes that Jack is back. However, it turns out to be Alexandra, who is struggling to get the boat to reach the island. Almost immediately, she gets exhausted and falls into the water, and Nim quickly heads toward her with Selkie. Just before Alexandra drowns, Nim saves her and takes her back to the island. They pass out just as they get to the beach, but as Nim wakes up, she asks who Alexandra is. Alexandra says she's Alex Rover, but Nim thinks she's lying because she knows that the adventurer is a man. She adds that Alex Rover saves the day and doesn't need people to save him. Alexandra then explains that she's the writer of the book, and she only came because Nim needed someone to help her. Nim says she didn't want Alexandra to come and that she needs to leave before Jack returns. Alexandra doesn't understand this, but Nim says that the island belongs to her and Jack and they won't let anyone take it from them. As she walks away, Alexandra looks disappointed.
Please, go! Go!
Because it feels like she came all the way from San Francisco for nothing. Alex Rover then appears again and tells Alexandra to follow Nim because they need each other. Alexandra says that Nim doesn't want her around, but Alex Rover insists that they need to help each other. Alexandra believes she can survive alone as long as Alex Rover stays with her and continues giving her advice. However, Alex Rover says he's not doing that anymore and that Alexandra is now on her own. Before he leaves, he tells her to look for Nim, but she seems confused. After a while, she walks around the island and sees Nim, who takes her to the house. Alexandra then asks how long Nim has been living there, and she says it has been a while. Shortly after, Alexandra asks how long Jack has been gone, and Nim says it has been 4 days. However, she mentions that she's sure Jack will be back soon because he never gives up. Nim then asks if Alexandra will try the food she's cooking, but the writer doesn't seem sure of this. Nim asks if she really wrote the Alex Rover books,
You didn't write those Alex Rover books.
But Alexandra looks confused. Nim then says that if she wrote the book, she's supposed to know that Alex Rover tries new things all the time. After this, Alexandra tries the food and tells Nim that it's better than she expected. The next morning, Alexandra wakes up and notices that Nim is not inside the house. As she goes outside, she sees Nim staring at the ocean, and she mentions that it's beautiful. Nim says it's empty, and Alexandra realizes that she's missing her dad. Alexandra then mentions that Jack is probably just lost, but Nim says he's smarter than that. She adds that if his boat was okay, he would have gotten home already. As she begins to cry because she thinks her dad is never coming back, Alexandra consoles her and mentions that regardless of whatever happens, she'll never leave Nim alone. Shortly after, they notice something moving in the ocean, and as they look closer, they see that Jack is on his way back. Nim looks excited by this, and she runs to the beach to welcome him home. Just as he gets to the beach, he hugs Nim and says that he meant it when he said he'd come back home. He then asks Nim how she's doing, and she says she's fine. As he thanks Galileo for guiding him home, Nim joins him in appreciating her friend. She then sees the container with him and asks if it contains protozoa Nim. Jack says he doesn't know, but that he has a good feeling about it. As they hug each other again, Jack sees Alexandra and asks who she is. Nim then introduces Jack to Alexandra and says that she's the writer of the Alex Rover books. They both seem attracted to each other, and they shake hands. After this, Alexandra stays back on the island with Jack and Nim, and they all seem happy together. Despite being agoraphobic, Alexandra makes the tough decision to leave her apartment and head to an unknown island to help Nim, whose dad is lost at sea. Interestingly, Jack's boat gets badly destroyed by the storm, but as he keeps thinking about his daughter, he refuses to give up on finding his way back. Just as Nim begins to accept that her dad is probably never coming back, Jack returns to the island and reunites with his daughter and Alexandra. In this story, we learn that stepping out of our comfort zones and refusing to give up despite the challenges faced can often lead to growth.